Thank you for escorting me as well. And good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I would like to say that protocol is observed, and I would like to really appreciate UNFPA for bringing us here today together, and also appreciate UNFPA for the support that it has been giving our colleagues, journalists. I know of colleagues who have gone to various parts of this country to cover stories through the effort of UNFPA. Juma in particular always calls us a lot, and that is something really that we don't take for granted. We do appreciate. And I also would like to thank Dr. Dimola for promising us more support, especially in the area of capacity building. It's very important because sometimes some of these things are very simple for you who work in UNFPA, like maybe sexual violence, for example. But to us journalists, what is it? What is sexual violence? Is it the act of having sex with a lady by force, or what if I send a pornography to a lady, or she sends it to me? What if I bump into her in the corridors and try to kiss her by force, or hug her by force? Is it sexual violence? Is it not? So sometimes we need more of these trainings to understand the context better. So I think really this is very important for us to have more capacity building. And another thing I would like to say is that as we move towards the capacity building, let us not forget the new media. The new media is very important today because we've seen websites, we've seen Facebook pages, YouTube channels, and an argument that some people make in South Sudan is that, the internet penetration is very small and this social media or new media does not play. And I always disagree with them. I gave several examples. I said one, just recently, in the last 3 weeks, there was a story in the social media of a young man who had performed very well in school, and he did not go to further studies because he didn't get any scholarship. He was from a poor family. Within that week, I think I read you carried the story. Later, this young man made the first vice president and got a scholarship. Another issue that also came through the social media was the issue of dredging. There was no traditional media that really went and covered the story in Bentiu about dredging. It appeared on social media, then later the mainstream media picked, and it became an issue. Another one was the issue of the killing in Mayom, the extrajudicial killing. No journalists went to Mayom to cover the story and bring it to us. It appeared through the social media until later we saw the governor was summoned, and so many things are ongoing now. Investigation is ongoing. So I think the new media should really be taken into consideration as we move towards capacity building and talking about the media. I was also thinking when Juma called me, when he said, we want to find a way of how to work with the media. I said, this is interesting because, we talk about sometimes these vices like the sexual violence. I'm sorry I'm dwelling so much about it. But at times, as a union even, we do not have data. What is the extent of, for example, sexual violence among female journalists? So if we could partner with UNFPA and do some research to find out what is the extent of sexual violence among female journalists? Who are the perpetrators? Are they fellow journalists? Are they politicians? Are they security people? So that we have some idea of, in 10 female journalists, how many are sexually harassed. Another thing that we could also do is to monitor the media together. For example, we monitor news items for 1 month in the radio stations and newspapers and TVs in Juba. And we say how many news items had women, how many news items had women voices in the last 1 month, how many news items, maybe we had 100 news items, how many of those items had the voices of women? We have not done this research, but I think if we do it, it may be shocking. That some radio stations or some media houses will go for a full man without having female voices in their news. It's an assumption, I'm not saying it's a fact for now. And what would we do with that kind of information? It would help us to make some intervention through talking to that media house. If it is a newspaper, if it's the Dawn, we come to the Dawn and say, you know what, we have monitored you for the past 1 month, and we have seen that there was no news, or there were only 3 out of 100 news items that were having female voices. We think you should do more to provide more voices to women. I think this also we can do together, and I think it will help people to even understand what they're doing. Because sometimes as journalists we do these things even without thinking about it. We do it without thinking about it. I have a story, I want to file a story, I get this from government, I get the other one from the opposing side or dissenting voice, I get an expert, and all are made. And I'm okay, I have the story, and it goes. So I think there are things we can do together. Resources, I'm happy that you really said you support in whichever area that UNFPA is able to do so. All in all, I would like to say that I would like to appreciate UNFPA for all the support that it has been giving to our colleagues and to the various media houses. Thank you very much.